prints and all that stuff. I know I'm clean as a whistle, man. I'm a good kid.
I'm as clean as a whistle.
Yeah,
Well, it just seemed like it would be a cool question to ask. Not that I expected there was a felony, but if there was, it wouldn't have surprised me either.
No, not really. It's funny. There is a lot of in car racing. There is a kind of lot of reckless sort of do anything to get the car to the grid stuff. But you'll see me miss a lot of races because I won't stoop to certain levels. I won't cut corners. I can honestly say that I've never taken advantage of anyone in all these years of motorsport. That anyone I've worked with or done business with, I've left them in a better place when I was done. I don't think anyone could ever say really anything bad about me, except that maybe I took the higher road and maybe missed a race as a result of that.
Yeah.
Well,
and you know what, man?
I believe in not hurting people's property, and I believe in telling the truth, man. Because as long as you're working with people that are straightforward and honest and they speak the truth, then you never really have any problems. It's when people start like glossing over stuff or manufacturing stuff, you end up caught into a position that you can't work around because you were lied to. So I take my integrity pretty seriously, and it kind of translates into like the no felony program.
The no felony. Well, it's a perfect segue then to talk about. Although I am going to ask you about Hertz, but we'll get there in a little bit. But it's talking about
what? About Hertz and the band from driving Hertz cars.
All right, let's go there.
It's really quick, dude. I basically just rented a Hertz and entered it in a rally. So before the rally runs, there's a sweep car that goes like at full speed through the course and makes sure it's all like legit to go. And you have like a ham radio operator in the passenger seat that tells like the coast cars they can come hop behind you. And that guy dropped out. My friend was like, "Do you want to run?" I went online and found Hertz had like a VW Golf, and I entered a Golf into a rally. And the car, I had full insurance, but the car, and I didn't hit anything. I didn't crash. The car just came apart. I mean, I got it to the end of the event. But like the whole underside looked like someone had taken like 1,000 elves and just beat it up with like 5-pound sledgehammers, So I had, they sort of banned me from that. But there's a lot of other car rental companies, and I'm already like 45, 46. So like,
you got a few to work your way through. Well, let's go back to integrity and leaving people better or leaving places better.
I guess I kind of worked over that feeling up there. But anyway. So,
you've got a program that I've read about that you're getting ready to ramp up.
Yep,
and,
big time.
I've already I got the acronym. I mean, it's RCSC, Race Car Santa Claus. Tell us about Race Car Santa Claus.
I want to build free race cars, man. Like, if we go into this whole story about how, like, in my 20s, I apprenticed for that shop and I read all the books and then I went to business school. And it wasn't until I was able to, like, quit my job at age 36 that I had the cash to build race cars. But back in my 20s, I was going to driver's schools. I just couldn't afford a cage. And, like, to take your street car and gut it and take it to a fabricator and put a cage in seemed like a really big step and a lot of money that didn't quite seem worth it at the time. And so my thought was, if there was some guy that could have shown up in my garage and put a free cage into my car at 25, I would have been racing before then and maybe not have gone to business school and maybe would have been doing this my whole life. So what I'm trying to go do is find the Bill Caswells at age 25 that are reading the books, that are volunteering, that are stacking up the knowledge, that are working on their driving, that are doing everything right. They just don't have the $3-4 grand for a roll cage. So what I did is, and then I'm going to segue off for a little second here. Like 2 years ago, a big sunglasses company flew me to Milan during Fashion Week and paid me to do an 18-hour photo shoot. And it turns out, dude, I can't turn right, just like Zoolander. Like we tried for an hour, and it turns out like their logo's only on one side, and I can turn one way but not the other. And they got like really upset, and they printed out pictures. And for like an hour, I made jokes about not turning right, and no one seemed to get it. But anyway, while I was there, I'm like, I'm not a model. Like, why am I getting paid all this money to do this? I'm like, I'm going to give it all away. And when I come home, I'm going to give it all away. And I'm like, I could give it to one kid. I could put a roll cage in one or two kids' cars. And I'm like, none of that makes a lot of sense. So I bought a 27-foot RV that's got like a 9-foot back workroom and a lift gate and a rear like garage door, like a moving truck. But it's got living quarters and a kitchen, the shower deal up front. And I bought like the awesome Bailey like digital bender deal, like the whatever 150 like double ram, like awesome whatever. And I've got a Bailey baby iron worker and a Miller 325 Trailblazer, like the fuel injected one, so that I can keep in the back of the truck and not smell the gas and the carbs. And then bought a 215 welder, so I got TIG, stick, and MIG. and like a nice cold saw, right?
So you take your modeling money and outfit a mobile shop.
You got it. I mean, I had to pour more into it than what they paid me. I had to probably double what they paid me. Because the equipment, I bought the equipment basically with the modeling money, and then I had to buy the RV too. And so the plan is the whole
recklessly passionate.
Yeah, man. But dude, I now have the sickest mobile fabrication truck that I've like really ever seen outside of like Robbie Gordon's Dakar vehicle thing. Yeah. You know, the sides fold down or whatever. But and his is cool the way the whole side folds down. You can work out of it, and I couldn't do that, so I just cut the roof off of this thing. So it's now a convertible. And the front like, his front 8 feet of the RV pops off in these 2 big panels. So the whole living area is topless, and you can go down the highway at like 70, and you can drink beers in the back because it's like an RV, and it's like legal like that. And you know, and then in the back is like a whole fabrication room. So the plan is to basically drive cross country, you know, building roll cages in each region for, I think, the kid that like deserves it the most. And, you know, like Johnny Appleseed went dropping all those like apple trees. I'm just going to roll cross country, laying roll cages like everywhere.
Okay. You know? So how I was reading again some of your social media stuff. It didn't sound like you totally have the application process ironed out, or is it like just at your will? You're going to see how things go. How's it going to play out?
I'm really bad at websites, and I didn't update the PHP something or other, and someone hacked the back end of my site, so I had to like go in there and rebuild the whole thing. And so I did that, and now I'm about to drop the database down so that I can start collecting all this information. So yeah, dude, I had to be able to know how to like build an RV and cut the roof off and buy the fabrication equipment and do the roll cage thing, but I also need to learn how to like design a website and build that out, put the databases in, because otherwise this whole thing just costs way too much.
Okay, well, that's the next question. Yeah, so and I'm going to be incredibly inappropriate. You can tell me it's none of my business. But so how in the world does this all play out? Are you still surviving off of money you made when you were an investment banker? Are you living off of movie money?
Through that. No, I've burned through all that, man. I mean, some of it keeps showing up. Like it's extreme optimism. Like every time I'm like, need cash, like something just happens, right? Like the movie deal just kept ramping up, and I'm like, I really need cash, and all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, it's been 18 months, and I look down, I'm like, whoa, we're at the first big paycheck, and sure enough, I got a huge chunk of cash. And then like a year ago, 2 years ago, I get a call from Bank of Montreal wanting to know if I want to cash out of my pension. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I got a pension? And they're like, apparently you quit 5 years in 1 day from like the thing, and I actually like they sent me like $40,000 or something, like out of nowhere, right? And then like my friend crashed my new X5, and I didn't take the insurance money and buy another car. I bought like a $1,700 X5 and put that back into racing, and I had a Lotus Exige, and someone hit me in that and totaled it, and I did the same thing. So I've just been burning through assets that I had. I like announce AER races, like the American Endurance races on the East Coast. I announced the America Rallycross ARX race this summer. So I get paid for like car announcing. And if I want to go back to writing, I did a bunch of writing. I get paid for that. I was supposed to try out for like one of the biggest TV shows in cars on Saturday, and I blew that off because I wanted to do Race Car Santa Claus, and I couldn't do both.
So when does Race Car Santa Claus start then?
I think it's going to start like in a week or two. I think I'm going to like, there's going to be an application process, but I just need to kick this thing off, and I've got all the equipment. I can knock a cage out pretty fast, and the RV's in San Diego. So I think I'm just going to like poke around and find someone that I sort of loosely know through friends and just be like, hey, why don't we cage your car first?
So is there going to be a media component to this? Are we going to be able to watch it unfold through video?
Yeah, and that's the whole problem with this. That's the whole plan is the Race Car Santa Claus designed to like educate, right? Because if I can build a race car in your own garage, like so can you. Like, yeah, you're missing my fancy tools. They just allow me to do it quicker, right? So if I can do it, you can order up a cage kit, you can learn to weld, and you and your buddy should be able to cage a car and be inspired to go build your own race cars is kind of the concept. So yeah, every build, I'm going to have a friend there filming it and editing it. So it's going to cost me even more to do it, which is a bummer. But I figure like if this goes right and I really just start knocking out a bunch of free cages for people, like I've got to be able to get like safety companies on board. So where like I show up and I got a helmet for the kid, and I got a fire suit for the kid, I got belts, I got like all the other safety gear too. And then if I start putting these videos out, there's got to be a way just to bring more cash in so that I can pay for the steel, because I'm I'm doing it all out of pocket now,
So,
just because this is
okay.
what
I'm
going
to stop you again because it just made me think.
And
of
it sounds
something.
insane, right?
No, it doesn't. But here's the thing. This is what's so cool about what you. I mean, I'm sure there's parts of it, Bill, that are not as. Go ahead.
Wait, hold on, Ryan.
The
part we're leaving out about this whole thing is I'm homeless. So I'm like, it's not van life, because that'd be kind of cool. But I'm like,
it's mom's garage life.
But keep in mind, until this past spring, I hadn't been home in like a good year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like Baja's free, basically. Right. You roll a truck down there and you go to anywhere and basically camp on the beach. Right. It's kind of free. And then North County, San Diego is like, living with a girl up there for a year and working on stuff. And then I got a lake house in Maine that our family built like in 1909. And I guess I now have a mortgage on that, but it's really not that much, I split it with my sisters. So I don't have the overhead that everyone else has. I don't have the overhead of a shop. I don't have the overhead of a house or rent, so that if I go someplace, I'm not burning dollars every day I'm on the road. And as a result, you sit tight for a month and do a bunch of work, and it just stacks money into the bank account. And really, I just got to pay my cell phone bill, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And car insurance,
And what I was getting at was that it's amazing how when you're not, so many of us want to plan everything out and have like the start to finish mapped out and see the ROI before they start.
Good luck with that.
You know what I mean? And I mean, I'll raise my hand. That's in a lot of ways, I've fallen a victim to that from time to time. And I mean, you did too, man. That's what you were doing in your early 20s or whatever.
Yeah,
you got
that's
out
what
of
everyone
it.
tells you to do.
Right.
And if you got to take care of people, there's no other way to do it. Right. Like if you have a kid or wife or parents you got to help out. Like there's no other way to do it. You have to go.
There's no other real responsible way to do it. But I think what I'm getting at is that even if you do have things to do that are involve responsibility, it's amazing how if you got a halfway intelligent head on your shoulders and you're willing to put the work in, you add. All you have to do is add value and help people, and the money part will take care of itself.
And that's what's going on with Race Car Santa Claus. Like someone already had me sign a shopping agreement, try to sell it to Discovery, and eventually it might become a TV show. And if I get to do it my way, and the thing's more of an education deal where I'm showing people how to build a rally car, a drift car, a track car, desert truck, kind of,
Sure.
Then it works for me. And so, there's ways for me to get paid doing Race Car Santa Claus down the road, so it's sustainable, I hope. It'd be nice to really get a second RV and load it with tools, or a third, and get some friends to help me come join me, or put them in different regions and see how many cages I can knock out in the next 5 years. Like even if I could do 20 cars a year for 5 years, I'm gonna have 100 cars out there. I'll give 100 kids their first race car. Like one of those guys is going to go on to be, a legend of motorsport, do great things, inspire others far than I ever could with my first 100, if that makes sense.
No, it totally makes sense. Okay, I'm shifting gears here again. This is totally another direction.
Yeah, you got it.
And I think it's an April Fool's, and not that I really wanted to see it if it wasn't. Dirtiest Men of Motorsport, is that real?
No, that wasn't real.
Okay.
But that's the photo shoot from Italy.
Okay, all right, yeah. Anybody that's scratching their head right now, tell the listeners what was going on there.
It's an Instagram post of me modeling in front of all the cameras in Milan during like Fashion Week kind of thing, right? And I really, I waited 2 years or so, like after the campaign started. It's not really fair to talk about who the company is, but they hired me to go out there and do that, and then like took a look at my life and like, realize like maybe this isn't the guy we want representing our fashion brand or something, you know what I mean? And like, there's some more to it all than that, but there's like a video of me like on private land, like trying to gap jump like a road in my Scout. And like, there might've been beers in the cup holders. I wasn't drinking them, but they're certainly in the cup holders. But we were on private land, like down on the beach in Mexico on Baja. I wasn't drinking, but it looked like it was a big mess. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's an old 74 Scout that actually ran like 12 desert races with more or whatever. So the thing was caged and harnessed and like, and it was ugly, dude, because it doesn't jump. Like we nearly bounced right off the top of the road. It was really gross. And it looked super dangerous and reckless. So,
but the point is that the photo that you're alluding to the fact
the
that
photo
it was,
that's on Instagram of me modeling is actually me modeling. That's actually
but not for Playgirl.
Nope, that was an April Fool's joke. Look at the date. It was up on April 1. But it was a way for me to post the photograph without saying what it was for or explaining anything. And that was actually part of the video shoot, which was the best part, because they had like